Hi everyone, how's everybody doing? Welcome my Mahjong friends. So glad you can join me this evening. On the screen before you, I have all my contact information, so I would love for you to join me and reach out to me and connect with me. I love hearing about your Mahjong journey and what you need help with or how I can help you. In previous episodes, I have discussed traveling with Mahjong. So I wanted to circle back to that because last week during the spring break, I did some traveling and I wanted to tell you where I was. This will be our final episode in the series about traveling, and we'll also talk about the new card. But let's circle back to where I was last week, and I'd love to share with you. I was actually in, here we go, South Carolina, and we visited Clemson University. The town of Clemson is really cute. It's literally one road, but they have some great restaurants and the people are super nice. It's located in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, which is absolutely gorgeous. And one of the best reasons why I went is my great niece was born. She was just 2 weeks old, so she's pictured here. I got to see her. She looks like a little baby doll, and it was such a great time for just a couple of days. So you might want to wonder why I was traveling all this time in my previous episodes. I'll include the link below, all the past episodes, all the traveling we did. When you're on travel, one of the easiest things to do is to bring your laptop with you or your iPad and you can play Mahjong. So you'll just need your card or you can take pictures of it with your phone. You'll need Wi-Fi, you'll need an online platform such as I Love Maj, which we all love, and of course, like I said, your laptop or your iPad. Where did I travel in my last episodes? I had several places. We went to Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Florida, Delaware, and South Carolina. And additionally, Washington, D.C. and Maryland. Those are not episodes, but I did travel there also. And I'm wondering why I did that. Or maybe you're wondering why I did that. Can anybody guess while I was traveling? So my youngest daughter was going on a college search. She is my last of my three children to go to college. So we did a lot of traveling. She, yes, Lillian, no, not tournaments. I don't get a chance to play tournaments. I work a lot teaching Mahjong, but good guess. But she was traveling for college. We were looking at colleges and where she might go. So if you can pick out all the colleges in those states, we're looking to pick one of them. She has made her decision. Can anybody guess out of all of them where she might end up? So my beautiful daughter has come to her decision not lightly. She did very much research, and as I said, we visited all these places. She is going to be at the University of, drumroll, um, Miami. She is going to be a hurricane, and she absolutely loves it there. She loves the atmosphere. She loves the people. Everybody was super nice. It's a super awesome area, and I'm looking forward to traveling there to see her often for the beautiful weather. And I don't want to take too much of your time because you're on here for Mahjong, but I just wanted to share with you a little piece of my life. So go Hurricanes, my first hurricane symbol. So as you're on here, we're here to discuss the National Mahjong League card. We're probably about just a full month into it. Oh, actually like 3 weeks. Some people still haven't gotten their card yet, but I hope that you can go back and look at these different these different videos that I have presented on each of the sections of the card. So I've already prepared in our last two lessons. We did the year category, we did 2, 4, 6, 8. Tonight we're going to discuss like numbers and the additions category. And again, each clinic I'm talking about these different categories, so check out past clinics and I'll put the link below. We're also, again, as I mentioned, we talked about traveling, and this was my final travel episode for the series of, this is the 5th one in the series. You can see past episodes again on my playlist. So with talking about like numbers, I don't know if most of you know, I am a Mahjong instructor, so I have many classes I teach, and one of them is on the new card. And this is just one portion of the presentation that I put out there to people who are interested in taking it's called the New Card Workshop. This is just a brief overlook of any like numbers. So we're discussing the category of any like numbers. And one of the things you want to notice is that there are a lot of any like numbers all over the category, all over the card. So the first one obviously is any like numbers itself. And then we have consecutive run. There's repeating numbers. Remember, they don't have to be 1, 2. They can be any numbers, and we're specifically talking about Kongs. So it can be from the numbers 2 to 9, because remember, you can't put the number 1 in this position here. In 3, 6, 9, remember these last 2 Kongs can be like numbers of 3, 6, or 9. In 2, 4, 6, 8, the back numbers can be any even number, 2, 4, or 6, or 8. And then this year, with the second category that we're talking about tonight, is the additions hand. They are also like numbers of 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. And then one thing people simply forget sometimes is the quint section this year has a like numbers hand. There is no like numbers hands in the Winds and Dragons category as there was last year, but the quints hand, I think, is a good replacement for that. And remember that you can use any wind, you don't have to use north. So with that, I wanted to also talk about the additions hands. The additions hands category is kind of interesting this year. It's 1s and 1s equal 2. So the like numbers of 1s, 1 and 2 is also in consecutive run. So you can play that hand and move over to a consecutive run hand. The second addition hand is 2, 2, 4. That falls nicely if you're collecting in the 2, 4, 6, 8 category, so you can play that hand along with that category. The third addition hand is 3, 3, 6, which falls under the 3, 6, 9 category. And the final addition hand, 4, 4, 8, falls under the 2, 4, 6, 8 category. So keep that in mind when you're playing a certain category. You might be able to shift yourself to an additions hand and maybe make that. And the greatest fallback hand would be any like numbers. You can move from some of those addition hands and the ones I mentioned in consecutive run, 3, 6, 9, and 2, 4, 6, 8, and quint. You can move to any like numbers or vice versa. So keep that in mind. And the next thing to talk about are like pungs. Pungs are 3 of a kind, and like means same. So at a minimum, 2 groupings of pungs. So they show up in like numbers because that's what we're talking about. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, we have like numbers here at the bottom of the screen. So they show up here. However, this is a concealed hand, so we all know we can't call for anything. You can call for your last tile for Mahjong. So you can switch from category to category with like numbers. So these are like pungs of 1s, and you can have any number from 1 through 8. Remember, we would not have the number 9 in pungs because we have to have 2 consecutive numbers. In 2023, we have like pungs of 2s. In consecutive run, we have back end pungs here. They are in 2 different suits, and you can have any number from the number 3 to 9. There's a lot of like numbers in 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. There's like pungs of 3s. There's like pungs of 7s. There's the other hand, I'm I'm sorry, I forgot to put the numbers on here, but the other hand of like numbers is 4 flowers, and that's a third from the bottom in 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and it's got like pungs of 5s and 5s and 9s and 9s on the B side. And then there's also 2 additional hands with like numbers, but they're also concealed. So if you expose something, you can't play these concealed, but it's just something to keep in mind. So there's like numbers of 5s and like numbers of 3s and 9s in 3, 6, 9. One of the fun facts that I kind of discovering as I'm playing and also through other people, there are 2 hands this year, or 2 exposures, I should say, where typically if somebody puts up 2 exposures and they expose it, your opponent, you can usually figure out their hand. So most of the time when you put up 3 exposures, you definitely know what hand they're playing. This year on the card, there are, I guess, 3 exposures that would not give away your hand. And the first one is if you have 4 flowers and put up pung of 5s and a pung of 5s. Yes, you could be playing 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, but you also could be playing consecutive run, because the 3s don't have to be 3s, they could be 5s. So it would be 3, 4, 5, 5. So that also holds true for the second hand in 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, because you have pungs of 9s. So if you had 4 flowers and 2 pungs of 9s up, you could be playing that B part of the hand as well as the consecutive run hand with 9s and 9s. So it would be 7, 8, 9, 9. So that's just an interesting thing, that it doesn't always give away your hand with 3 exposures. The other thing, there's one more hand that I found out today. If you put up a pung of 2s, a kong of 3s, and a pung of 4s, so it's 3 2s, 4 3s, and 3 4s, they can be playing 2 hands. And that would be hand number 1 in consecutive run and hand number 2 in consecutive run. And that's all in one suit. So remember, again, it's a consecutive run, line number 2. It doesn't have to start with the number 1. It could start with the number 2. So it'd be 2, 3, 4, 5. But if somebody put up the exposures 2, 3, 4, they could be playing both of those hands. So it's quite interesting that there's 3 exposures that someone could put up and you still can't tell their hand. So I hope this gives you a little insight into the card. If you're looking to take a class with me, reach out. I do them virtual and in person. I discussed in my workshop, we talk about some of the things we just talked about and tons of other things to help you learn the card. And usually by the end of the workshop, yes, you're quite tired because I've given you lots of information, but you have a better handle on the card and you're ready to go out and try and play one of your in-person games with the new lessons that you've learned. On my channel, if you connect with me on my channel and subscribe, you can also see Let's Learn the Card category. I have a huge playlist out there where you can check out all the videos I have on learning the card, and you can go back and visit the past lives. And I also have worksheets on my website if you're interested in those. I also have tips, tricks, and strategies, which is a great way to challenge yourself and learn different ways to do things that maybe you're used to, and lots of videos on my channel, and you can enjoy them. And there's different series, so check out all the different playlists. And tonight we're playing on I Love Maj, and we will start going over there in a second. I just wanted to share with you that if you go on to I Love Maj and practice, it's a great way to get to learning the card. They have an exercise room, which we'll look at in a second. And usually they give you 2 weeks. I'm going to give you 3 weeks using my code CB. So initially, you do not have to put a credit card in, so you can go on for 3 weeks and try it out, and then add a credit card if you'd like. So please, if you would help me out, and so you can support me at no cost to you, hit subscribe and click the bell so that you get notifications. I appreciate it. And also you could give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying my video. You could share it with friends and put a comment below. And thank you for those who have supported. I think we have Ken on tonight, and thank you, Ken, for being a super supporter. Each week on Tuesdays, we play live on I Love Maj. You can join me and friends and play on I Love Maj, and maybe you could try to beat me. I'm not perfect, and it's all about the tiles you receive, so it's always fun to beat the teacher. So I challenge you to come on and beat me. And obviously, you know, every Tuesday we have a live clinic, so our next one will be next week on the 25th. So let's hop on over to I Love Maj, and we can get started and go through the two things we were talking about earlier, the like numbers and the addition hands. Okay, I Love Maj. And we're going to talk about that. We are going to go to my groups. Mah Jongg Class is where you could connect with me. You have to find my group. You have to find a group and then type in Mah Jongg Class, and that's where you can join us on Tuesdays to play live. You do have to register ahead of time because once we start our group, you can't come in after 1. So you have to come on a little before. Actually, try to register a day or two before. You'll get notification. Come on like 5 minutes to 1, and then our game starts promptly at 1. So we're going to do play game lunch, and we're going to run down to the exercise room, and we're going to make a hand. Now, I suggest you doing this yourself. I think it's a great way to learn the card and learn the hands. If you don't physically have a set in front of you, I suggest you building the hands with your set. But if you don't have a set, come on here and build the hands. Take a group each day and build it. So we've already done 2023. We did 2, 4, 6, 8. Today we're going to change, make sure you have the 2023 card, and then change the section. And we're going to change the section to any like numbers. Now, this will be a quick section. There's only 2 hands, so we'll build it, but maybe we'll try it a couple times with different numbers. So the first thing you want to always ask yourself is how many colors, and right now you see it's 3 colors. Flowers are suit neutral, so they'll always be on your card. They're in blue, and here they're white. I think they're just trying to help you out to see the difference in the hand. Excuse me. So flowers, we need 4 of them. So we'll take 4 flowers and drag them down, or you can click on them. And remember, in a grouping of 4, whether it's flowers, whether it's dragons, or any number or any wind, you can use jokers. So we'll pop in a joker, and you can use up to 4 jokers to represent these 4 of a kind, which is called a Kong. Then we need a number. It's showing it with 1s. We can build it with any number we have in our hand, and tonight let's use the number 8. And let's start with dots, and we need 4 of them. Then we need a pair of 8s because we're still dealing with the number 8. We can't change the number, but we have to change the suit because the color changed. Let's do 8 BAMs. We need a pair. In a pair, we are not allowed to use a joker. Always, when it's 2 of something, there's no joker allowed. Now we change color again. So now we need our final group. We use dots and BAMs. Now we must use cracks, and we need 4. But we, again, could use jokers. So say we had 2 jokers. We can use 2 jokers and then a crack. I always suggest when you're using jokers to put them within the group so you know that they belong to this group of 8 cracks. I call it hugging your jokers. I always say give them a little love, hug your jokers within the set that you want it to belong. Because if you had put it to the one side, does the eights belong? I mean, do the jokers belong to the eight cracks or do they belong to the eight bams? And this specifically will be an issue when you're exposing your tiles. So we're going to hug it, and now we have completed our first hand in any like numbers, line number 1, and you validate, and they congratulate you for a good hand that matched what they were looking for. We go on to the next hand. Now, I don't recall, I've been teaching for almost 10 years and playing for 12. I don't recall them ever having a closed hand in any like numbers, but I would have to go back and look at my cards. I'm sure in history there might have been, but I don't remember it. But this is very important for you to know. It is a closed hand. So you cannot expose any tiles on top of your rack or call for anything. So again, the first thing you want to look at is it's 3 colors, so it must be 3 suits. And again, we can't expose anything because it is closed. I did do a video on tools that you need for your Mahjong game. And one of the things I suggest is either highlighting the concealed hands with a Sharpie highlighter or putting a C on the far left, because we read from left to right. When you're playing your game, you're never going to say, oh, is this hand open or closed? You're just looking for a hand to play. And so you might play this open and call for something, but unfortunately, when you do that, you will not be able to win Mahjong on that hand, and you will have to change hands and find a hand where you could use that exposure. So don't do that to yourself. You'll be kicking yourself, I'm sure. So try to put a C to the far left. I said to use a red Sharpie with a C, or highlight the whole hand, not just the C, the whole hand with yellow Sharpie. And if you go on, again, on my channel, you can see the video where I explain this. Type in the word tools, and it'll come up for your Mahjong game. So let's build this hand. And we, again, need 2 flowers to start. The one before we needed 4. But with this 2 flowers, we cannot use any jokers. It is a pair. Then again, it's 3 suits. We can start with any suit, any number. Let's start with the number 4, and we'll do cracks. And in a pung, which is 3 of a kind, you can use up to 3 jokers to complete that. You need the matching dragon. If you do not know the matching dragons, it's written on the back of your card. Underneath the verbiage, it says standards based on 8. It's the 3rd line down, like halfway through. It tells you the matching dragons to each suit. You can highlight that with your yellow Sharpie, and so you have a quick reference. You can find it quickly. The other thing I suggest is on the bottom of your card, you can write BAMs equal green, dots equal white, and cracks equal red. So this way you also have it right in front of you on your card. Don't write too much on your card. It does get quite confusing, but there are a few things that are helpful. So we already have cracks started. We need the matching dragon, which if you look at the back of your card, cracks are red, so it is the red dragon. Then we need to change suits. We can use BAMs, and we still are using the number 4, so we need to do 3 for BAMs, and again, we can use jokers, so let's pop in some jokers. Then we need the matching dragon to the 4 BAMs, and so it is the green. And then we need the final suit. So we have cracks and BAMs. Final suit is dots, and we need 3 of them. And if for some reason you didn't have the dots, you don't have to use it. You could have used 3 jokers to represent the 4 dots. And then the final dragon, this is the dot suit, we have to use the white dragon. And again, you click validate. So I'm not going to go on to the next hand. We did 2 hands in like numbers. Let's change the category up top. And actually, I guess you have to go on to the next hands to go up to top. And we're going to change the section or category, and we're going to try the addition hand. The addition hands are quite frank. You have to use the numbers that they're giving you. You can't change the numbers. You have to do 1 + 1 = 2. But you can change the suits. So again, we start off with 2 flowers. And we have to use the numbers 1 and 1 in any suit. So let's start off with the 1 dots, and we need 4 of them. No jokers in the flowers, but in the 1 dots, we could use jokers if we wanted. We could use up to 4. Now we have to change suits. What we have left are cracks and bams. So let's use cracks, and we need 4 of them. And then our final suit is a Kong of 2s, and we have to use the bam suit. And now we've completed the hand for any for additions hand. I was stuck on any like numbers hand. Now we've completed the hand for any, I said it again, for the additions hand. So we hit validate, and they said, congratulations, you're correct, and we go on to the next hand. The next hand is 2 + 2 = 4. So again, we need 2 flowers. We need a Kong of 2s in any suit. The color changes. You need to change the suit, but we have to use the number 2. So let's do 2 bams. And then for our final suit, we have to do cracks because we use dots and bams. Let's use cracks. And it has to be the number 4. So sometimes this might be challenging for some people. There's a lot going on in your brain, but I promise you, the more you do it, the better you'll be at it. It's so good for you to do also. So keep practicing using different suits where you can change numbers. In this, you cannot, but in other hands, you may. There are some that you can. Click validate. And we'll go on to the next one. We just have 2 more hands left, and then we'll get into playing the game. This is like a little warm-up. You can do this every time you go on to play. Pick a category and practice. You'll get to learn the different hands. We need 2 flowers. We need a Kong of 3s. Let's start with the bams. We need 4 of them. Then you need to change suits where it changes color. So let's do cracks. And it's still the number 3. Now you need to change suits, and you need the 6s in dots because we already used bams and cracks. We have to do dots. And this time, let's use some jokers. Now we've completed the hand, and we're going to validate. And we go on to our final hand. And the final hand is 4 + 4 = 8. And as I'm doing this hand, please type in any questions you might have before we go into the games, and I'll try to answer them. So if anybody has questions, please put them in the chat. So our final hand, we need 2 flowers. Remember, no jokers. We need the number 4, and we have 3 suits to choose from. We have bams, cracks, and dots. Let's do bams. I said bams, but we're going to do cracks. Let's do cracks. Then we'll do bams because it changes color. Let's do bams. Our final suit, because we used cracks and bams, our final suit will be dots, and we need the number 8. And we have 4 of them. In each of these groupings, you may use jokers. In the flowers, you cannot. Let's validate. And you could go on and repeat this and build it with different numbers so you can create a visualization which helps you learn. So when we learn, and I'm sure there's many school teachers out there, You learn by listening, you learn by looking and touching. So the more you do those three learning cues, it will help you to learn the new card. Let's move on to get out of this and let's go play a game and see how we're going to do with the new card. So you hit the X on the top of the screen to exit. Try the other exercises, but I suggest you just start working on making a hand, and then you can go and practice. After you feel confident in all the hands, you could do the Charleston practice. I love What Hand Is That? This is one of my favorite things. This helps you see how you can switch hands and figure out your opponent's hand. Let's play with the bots, and let's play the official game, and I'm going to do intermediate. We're not going to be open to live games. Make sure your card says 2023. And again, I'm on the second level. I'm going to turn off the timer because I usually talk, so I don't want them to take my tile away from me. So you're going to sort by suit, and you're going to see what your pairs are. So we have pairs of 8s and pairs of 3s. Now 3 and 8 typically don't work together, but in this year on the card, consecutive run, there is a hand that has 5 numbers. So it'd be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's still not going to work together, but I just wanted to point out, typically in consecutive run, you collect 4 numbers. This year you have to collect 5 because of hand number 4. So 3 to 8 is not going to work. We have to pick either the 3s or the 8s and work from there. So you look what you have to go with it. So you have 3, 5, which is odds, but we have a 3, but we really don't have a lot of odds. I'm going to do, I think, 2, 4, 6, 8. So let's get rid of, we're going to get rid of our 3s. I don't want to pass all 3s because remember we talked about this year, it's all about like numbers. So let's pay attention to our passing. So we'll get rid of our 3s, our 5, probably this north. I'm thinking there's only 2 hands in the Winds and Dragons section this year that has a run of numbers. It's the second line and the final line in Winds and Dragons. So I don't think we're going to play that, so I don't think we're going to keep the wind. You always keep your dragon and your flowers because it gives you opportunities to switch within the section. So let's give away a 3. Actually, let's do this other 3. We're going to break up our 3s. Our 3, a north, and a 5. Now, 3 and 5 aren't great, but I'd rather do that than pass 2 3s. This is our first right. We're playing a 2, 4, 6, 8 hand. Well, look at that. We got some wins, but I'm not going to keep the wins. I'm going to do a west, a 3, and a 9. Oh, look at this. We got 2 3s. Yikes. But anyway, let's give an east, a 3, and let's look at our hand and see where we might want to play. So we have these 8s. I don't think we're going to use this other 8. We're going to focus on our pungabates. So this will be our third tile. Now this is the first left. You do have the ability to do a blind pass, but I don't use that very often. I try to give 3 tiles. I want 3 tiles. I don't have a great hand yet. I'm still trying to build it, and I'm not sure which I'm playing yet. So I'm going to pass 3. I want 3 tiles. We picked another 8, and I believe what we gave away was the same 8. So maybe we should be keeping 8s and playing like numbers. If you can visually see that when you're playing, if you say that in your head, oh, that's another 8. We just saw that. If you don't have anything, start collecting the 8s. They'll come back around. We're going to continue the Charleston. And we're going to get rid of a 7, a north, and a 3. Now we got a 6 and an 8. I'm tempted to play If you look at the 2, 4, 6, 8 section, line number 5 is 2 and 8 in the same suit, which we have. And then dragons, we have the opposite dragons. We have the white and the green. So we definitely don't need this 9. And maybe we could play with the 6s, with the hand above it, with the 8s. I'm not going to keep this 8. Let's see what happens. And if we did do the hand above it, it would be 2 and 4 in one suit and 4 and 6 in another. Let's get rid of this 6. I'm trying to focus on line number 5. Oh, we picked up that damn 8 again. They're killing us. All right, let's hold on to that suit. There is, don't forget, singles and pairs. You can pop on over to singles and pairs and maybe we can play that. Although we're missing a lot, but you never know. Let's get rid of the 4 and 5. This is the last right. And on the last right, you can do a blind pass. I'm doing it because I kind of like everything we have. I'm not sure exactly what hand I'm playing. Definitely playing a 2, 4, 6, 8 hand. I'm either playing line number 5, line number, or singles and pairs. I kind of like the singles and pairs. The only problem is we have no flowers. We do have an opportunity to get flowers. There are 8 flowers in this set. You'll be pleasantly surprised if you do get them. I'm not sure that we will, but I think I like what we have here. I think we'll just do 2 tiles to the right and we'll do a blind pass. We picked up a 1 in east. We don't need them. Let's do 2 tiles for the courtesy. Oh, we picked up another 8. You know, playing singles and pairs, I probably won't do that because we have 2 jokers and I don't want to get rid of them. So let's review the 2, 4, 6, 8 section. Now remember, I've only had this card for 3 weeks. 1 week of which I was developing all my slides, and I really haven't played as much as I would like. So I'm learning the card with you. So let's look at it and see where we might play with 2 suits. We could play line number 2, but we're missing all the 2s, and you know, we don't have any 8s. We could use our jokers for the 8s, so we could play line number 2. We could play line number 3, except we're missing all the 2s. We could play 2, 4 in bams, and we can play 6, 8 in dot and cracks, but or vice versa. I don't like that hand. Line number 4, we're missing our 2s, and I don't know, it's not a good hand. I still like line number 5. Or I like the closed hand. If we can get some flowers, we have 1 green dragon to match it. So maybe line 2, 5, and 6 might be an option. And don't forget to look at the additions hand section, but that's 4, 4, 8. And we don't have any 4s. We only have 1 4 or 2, 2, 4. And we don't have any flowers. So I think that's out. So let's keep playing in 2, 4, 6, 8. And we're going to start the game off by getting rid of our north. I didn't call that soap because I'm not sure what hand I'm playing. And if I did call that soap for the 5th line down, I would have to use both jokers. So how's everybody doing with the new card? Does everybody like it? Have you gotten your card? I'd love some conversation in the chat. I love chatting with everybody and seeing how everybody's doing. Oh, thanks, Sue. I haven't looked at the chat lately. Sue had mentioned that I'm a great teacher. Thanks, Sue, so much. I'm glad you're enjoying these lessons. So we're trying to build our hand in 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm not really sure where this is going to go. Huh, of course, we got a 6 dot. I don't think we're going to use it. I'm going to let it go. Oh, good thing. They're using them. No, look at what we got. Nice joker exchange already off the bat. Let's switch it. Now we have to make a decision. Let's see. Oh, Charlene's saying she hasn't won many hands. You know what, Charlene? The few games I've played, I have won because I do think I have a little bit of edge up on people because I did prepare my slides. I do have some of the hands already in my mind, but I also have noticed in some of the games, a lot of wall games. And I'm wondering if that's because people don't know the card yet, so they're not able to switch their hands. So yeah, Charlene, yeah, it's not easy. Okay, so we have to make a decision. We just picked up another joker. So we can play. I really want to try that 2-8 hand, but then that would be getting rid of all of this. What would you do? What would you guys do if you want to type in the chat? What hand would you play or what would you get rid of at this point? So I think I like the pung of 8s. We could make a pung of 2s. We have these jokers to use with the white and the green. The other option is we could play any like numbers with 8s because we have one of each dragon. We need some other 8s and we need the green, the red dragon. So I'm going to start getting rid of this little grouping here and kind of try to play that 2-8. That's a new hand this year and I haven't played it yet. So I want to play it so I can maximize learning the card. So let's do that. Let's play with the 8s. And always prioritize your discards and get rid of the ones you definitely are not going to use. Oh, look, we got another 8, so maybe it's pushing us towards 8s. Maybe we're playing 8s all like numbers, but we're missing flowers. Now Joe has 3 and 5 up. We should be trying to figure out his hand. So immediately you think 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So he might be looking for 1s and 3s, which we'll see right now when I throw this 3. Nope. He also could be playing the second hand in consecutive run. 3, oh no, it couldn't be that. Sorry, excuse me, wrong hand. Oh, we got our flower. We're looking for one more. That would be lovely. So I'm going to switch over to the 8s. So if we get another flower and we need a red dragon. There is 2 red dragons out. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Agatha, always. Okay, so Agatha was playing your traditional consecutive run hand with the upper numbers. This year there's pairs on either end with pungs with the Kong in the middle. Very nice, Agatha. Joe was playing immediately that 1, 3, 3, 5 hand. He wasn't able to call for the pung of 3s that I threw out. Wes was playing 2 flowers, 1, 2, 3. What hand is that? 2 flowers, 1, 2, 3. If he was playing the 5th line down, this, oh, it's all one suit. I don't know what I was looking at. It's 1, 2, 3, 5th line down, all one suit. So he had a long way to go. I kind of liked how our hand came out because we were playing 2, 4, 6, 8, and then we started getting all these 8s. I suppose I could have switched to the second line in 2, 4, 6, 8, but the problem was we didn't have any 2s, and we needed a pair of 2s, so we were struggling a little bit with that hand. But this was a good way to see. The problem was now we were waiting for a flower and a red dragon, and 2 red dragons were already out. So, but a good switch. It shows you how you can go from one category to the other. So we went from 2, 4, 6, 8 to any like numbers using eights. Okay, let's do our next game. Okay, hi Jolie, welcome. Jolie says, great lesson, but off Tuesday night, Mahjong now. I don't know what that means. Oh, but off to Tuesday night Mahjong. Oh, Jolie, have a great time. Sorry, I couldn't see. I had something in front of my phone. Okay, so let's sort by suit. And we have nines and threes. Immediately when you see nines and threes, it should pop right in your head, 3, 6, 9. So if that did not for you, you need to learn the categories. And I'm talking about the headings. There used to be 9 headings. Now we have 10. You need to learn them, and you need to learn what each grouping is consisting of. So in 3, 6, 9, when we collect to that category, you're going to collect 3, 6, 9. Dragons are in that category and flowers. That's it. You don't need to collect wins or any other number. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, pop on over to my YouTube channel and look up Learn the Card. And the first video is talking about learning the categories. So let's collect any 3, 6, 9. So let's get rid of a 2. We don't want to get rid of 2 2s. That's no good. So pull one back. And we can get rid of a north and a west. It's not great, but it's better than 2 2s because I think there's a lot of like numbers in the card, not only with pairs, there's a lot of like pairs, there's a lot of like pungs and a lot of like kongs. So I'd rather give north and west than 2 2s. And don't forget, this year, 2023, right? You can use 2s in there. So let's see what happens. Now we got 7, 8, and 2, which we don't need, so let's just pass that along. I know we got a new pair. We could change our hand and play 2, 3, but I'm going to stick with 3, 6, 9. So I'm going to let that go. We got 8s and a 2. Now, I don't want to pass 2 8s. So let's think about this. Let's look at our hands. And the first thing I always look at is the dragons. Am I going to use these dragons? So there's 2 hands this year in 3, 6, 9 with dragons. It's line number 4. So it'd be all one suit, which we don't have. We have 2 suits. So right off the bat, we know we're not going to use opposite dragons. Then there's line number 6, which is a matching dragon. And it would have to be a 6, which would be with the red. I don't think we're going to use our dragons. So let's pull back the 8, and let's get rid of the green, just for a better passing. We don't want to pass 2 8s. We pulled another 3, and we're going to continue because we don't have a hand quite yet. We're going to get rid of the 1, the 9, and the 8. Oh, look at, we picked up some 6s. Oh, this is an easy hand now, isn't it? It's your traditional hand that we've had many years. It's 3, 6, change suits, 6, 9. The pattern has changed this year. It's the first hand in 3, 6, 9. And now it's pung kong, or if you're not familiar with that terminology, it's 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind. I call it somewhat of an easy hand because you can use jokers in every part of it. So I think that's where we're going to focus. So I would get rid of the last 3 tiles. So right off the bat, we have a hand picked. Whether we get it or not is a whole nother story, but at least it looks good on paper that, oh, we just got another 9. Very nice. So now we're only going to pass 2 tiles. We are just 3 tiles away from Mahjong. That's very nice. So we're into the game. So this might be a little boring game for you if you're sitting at the table and you're just waiting for your tiles to come. We're ready to call for these sixes if they come out. This six, we need another joker, and then I'll feel a little better. Prioritize your tiles to ones you know we don't need. We're not going to use this 9, but I'm going to keep it because it's in the category. Hopefully we might be able to do some sort of joker swap. We're looking for a 6 bam, a 6 crack. Come on. Be nice to win a little hand, right? Okay, there's our 6, so we're going to call it. You need a pung, because remember the pattern, 3, 4, 3. Always double check yourself. Okay, there's our 1, 6 bam. We can't call it. We need a Kong. We need 4. We already have our 3s. I was hoping for that joker, but somebody else got it. Does anybody have any questions about the card? I would love to answer them as we're playing kind of this simple hand. We're trying to see if it plays out. I would love to answer any questions you have about the card. I don't mind, even if it's not on the 369 section. You can ask me anything I would like to chat about. So type it in the chat. Oh boy. You should be figuring out Wes's hand. He has 4s and 6s where he could be playing. So I immediately always look in 2, 4, 6, 8. And there is no hand with 4s and 6s in the same suit of pungs. So he's probably playing some sort of consecutive run. And I would think he is playing line number 2, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, because it's that pung kong pattern, all in one suit. Oh, nice. We needed that. We are 1 tile away. We need a 6 bam for a win. We did get a lot of 9 dots. I think that's like the 3rd one we got, or the 2nd. I bet you somebody's playing wins, because remember, we passed them right away. I bet you Agatha's playing a wind, or I don't think Joe, well, no, Joe could not be playing a wind. I bet you Agatha's playing a wind. We just got Mahjong, so let's call that for Mahjong. Yay for us. Oh, she's not. Nobody's playing the wins. Huh. I remembered the wins getting passed and we didn't get any wins. So B1 on that, I call it very simplistic hand because you can move the jokers around to any of the groupings. It's quite a great hand. Try to learn those hands with this pattern, and maybe I'll start next week talk about the patterns. The pattern again is 3, 4, 3, 4, or pung kong. And I think there's like 10 hands with that pattern. So I'm going to give you homework. So for homework, go and look at your card and find these 10 hands, because it makes it easier for you to learn this pattern. And when you're calling for things, you don't have to keep looking at the card. Oh, what do I need? What do I need? Because you know in your head you need 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind. So that's the same pattern in consecutive run that Wes was playing. He was playing 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind. So he was playing 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. This is line number 2. He was, oh, sorry, not line number 2, line number 3. 5, 7, 9 in 3 different suits. And Joe was playing any like numbers, and that is line number 2. He needs some flowers. Yeah, he had a long way to go. At least that's what I think. Oh no, excuse me. I'm not even looking at, see, I don't even look at the little typeset underneath. I try to figure out their hand. He's playing 2023, line number 1. So that's interesting. He had a long way to go though. So I appreciate you coming tonight. I am going to end tonight. I am struggling a little bit with my voice. I have a little postnasal drip going on. So I appreciate you being with me tonight. And anything you would like, any information, type it in the chat, send me an email. If you type in the chat under the video in the comments, I get an email that tells me you did, so I can reach back out to you. Email me, connect with me on Facebook or Instagram. I would love to talk about the new card because I love, this is what I do for a living. I teach it. I love doing analysis of the card. I don't talk too much about it because a lot of people aren't interested in that part of it, but I like it to be able to tell you where to change hands and how often a number is used, because then statistically you'll know how often, what are the odds of you getting that number. So I do have an accounting background. I went to college for accounting. I did work in accounting for many years, and then I stayed home with my children, and then I just came back to work and did what I love the most is play games. So I started playing Mahjong, and I also teach canasta. If you haven't popped over to my canasta YouTube channel, you can do that also. It's called Canasta Class. So it's the same logo, except it says canasta. And I have lots of videos on there. And so that's up and coming also. And if you want to learn canasta, I can teach you that. So I would love to start a YouTube live on canasta too, if people had an interest in it. If there's not quite as much activity on that channel, but I do post videos. So go over and look at that. If you have any interest in canasta, it's modern American canasta. It's the most current version of canasta out there. There's many types of canasta. So again, thank you for watching, and have a good night, Shirley, and have a good night, Elaine. And thank you. And it's always good to end on a win, right? We should, stop right here, right? So have a good night, everyone.